Hello my makeup loving friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Teresa. Today we're talking about the Flower Punk Collection by Kaleidos, and yes, I know, I'm super late to this. However, I did actually buy it on the 6th of May when it was launched. Got up at 4 AM because that was the time that it was launching here in Ireland, which, by the way, who gets up at 4 AM? Apparently me, to get makeup. Who knew? But you see, there was a lot. My partner actually gave me the money for this because this was a birthday present, because I turned 31 on the 3rd of May, and this was a birthday present. So I had a lot of like him asking me every day, where is it? Where is it? Why has it not arrived? And the thing was, basically they screwed up the delivery, so it kind of got lost or something, and then eventually they sent it out again. But it took about 6 or 7 weeks, something like that, to eventually get to me. Now, I had a lot of trouble dealing with Kaleidos customer service, which kind of sucked. It takes them a long time to get back to me. But that is not the focus of today's video. So obviously we're actually looking at the full collection today. So you get this really cute little jewelry box thing. And because I had ordered like over X amount of dollars, they actually put in free agave and extra like body tattoo things, which were already included in this, so now I have 2 of these. But it comes with 2 sets of quad lipsticks and of course the eyeshadows and this gorgeous little box, which I am totally loving. But today's video is going to be swatches of the lipsticks, a review, swatches of the palette, tutorial review, all that sort of thing. So first up we're doing swatches of the lipsticks, then swatches of the eyeshadow, then a tutorial, and then a review. So it's a lot because there's a lot in this collection. So if that sounds like something you're interested in and you want to see how I did this particular eye look, then this is the video for you. Do please keep on watching. So I have the Kaleidos palette here, so we're going to swatch it together. I really do like that it has this sort of a magnetic thing that you can just remove the mirror. This is what the palette looks like. It's totally my kind of jam. There's greens, some kind of murky shades in there, and even some pinks. So I'm all for it. So I have actually been asked as to why I swatch on my face. And the answer is twofold, which makes me sound very weird. But how often do you get to say twofold in your life? So first is, it's a little bit whimsical, and for me, makeup is all about fun and silliness, and let's not take it too seriously. I kind of feel like doing it. Like doing the swatches on my face is kind of reinforces that it's like, it's just makeup, washes off, not a big deal. The second reason that I swatch on my face is actually the skin on your face is the closest that you will get to your skin on your eyelid. So how it swatches on your facial skin is the closest that you can get to how it will perform swatched on the eyelid, without swatching it on the eyelid. So for me, that's part of why I do it. If you don't like that, that's totally fine. Totally cool. We're not going to fall out over it. Bigger issues out there. So we're going to start off first. I'm going to go, there's such lovely lip prints on it as well. Okay. So I'm very excited about those. I've been waiting for this for so long, but there you go. So we're going to start off with Mint Fever, Aloe Cove, Stained Glass, and Nouveau. Okay. So let's start off here. That is super pigmented, look at that. Oh, very nice. Okay, nice. So that was Stained Glass, and this is Nouveau. Okay, nice. I like that this is a 9-pan palette, but they have laid it out straight rather than in the 3x3. I think that's quite different. And then we're on to Peach Soju, Chlorophyll, Golden Age, and Sun Glazer, which I'm really interested in checking out. So this is Peach Soju, Chlorophyll. We have Golden Age. Then Sun Gazer. Oh, that is nice. And very last one, Earthship. Oof. I like those ones. So yeah, I mean, that is it. It's nice to do a little 9-pan one. So if you want to see the swatches of the lipsticks, that is the next part of the video. Don't worry, we will be doing something with these. Maybe, who knows? It could be a very short video. So I kind of figured we'd look at the lipsticks first. We'd do some swatches, all that sort of thing. So we have the nude set, which comes in a nice little tin case like this. Really very pretty, and they're each separated like this. So there's nude 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they are the shades Adobe, Dune, Terra, and Sienna, and those are the first 4 shades swatched here. So I mean, they're all quite similar in terms of, I think they're quite warm toned. Why does my arm not go in the way I want it to? There we go. Chubba chubba arm. They're quite warm toned. I would have liked a cool tone in there. And I think the formula on that one is a lot creamier than the coloured set. So the coloured set, which was, can we be real, the one that I was very excited about, the presentation that Kaleidos does, 20 out of 10. Like, they are so good on that. Like, they aren't a cheap brand, but they aren't like super expensive either. And they really do just do some luxe things. So obviously the same sort of presentation again, and they have their different colours here. So they have Cactus Flower, Agave, Mahogany, and Dahlia. Now I was kind of surprised that Dahlia, it's the shade at the very bottom. It's that one there. Maybe it's just me. I would have thought a Dahlia would have been a black colour. But my mind has gone to the murder. So I was surprised with Agave, quite a dry sort of a formula, whereas the nude, you can almost see there's a different way in which they're swatching. I find that really, really interesting for me anyways. So I wanted to kind of show you guys the swatches there to get an idea. The next thing that we're going to do is actually try them on the lips. I'm going to start off with the nude lipsticks, and then we're going to move on to the more coloured ones. And then after that, we're getting into the tutorial. So if that's something you're interested in, ta-da! So we're starting off first with the shade Adobe, which I'm assuming is how I pronounce that. Hey Spots, how you doing? The whole thing. So quite neutral. Okay, so that's it. That's Adobe. It's quite a warm toned sort of a colour. Let's not look at my terrible skin. I've been very stressed. Quite a nice formula, very creamy. Sits comfortably. Don't hate it now. I'm not a big nude lipstick wearer. I just tend to gravitate more towards the colours, but so far this is a very comfortable formula. Yeah, so this is Adobe. And we now have Dune. What am I doing here? Who knows? Who knows? So this is a little bit darker. There's a nice smell off it. I would say it's kind of like almost chocolatey. Like, it's not unpleasant at all. This is a darker shade. I do think it's a bit of a pity that in their nudes they didn't go for very, very dark. Like, these are darker nudes for the Caucasians amongst us. I think that's a little bit of a miss. I also wish they kind of sold these singly rather than in sets, because there are definitely shades that I know that people would have liked to have gotten by themselves. But that's a whole other thing. And this is the shade Dune. So now we're on to the third of the nude lipsticks, and this is Terra. So I assume like Terra, which is it Latin for earth or Italian? Anyways, I should look that up. Go on, editing Teresa. What does it mean? Editing Teresa is so smart. Yeah, again, a very comfortable formula. These are more of kind of like the nude tones that I would go for, because I don't think they're like traditionally neutral. There is kind of like undertones of red and almost orange in them. They're very earthy, warm toned reds. Again, I mean, now I was going to say I would have liked them to come out with cool tones. That's not to say that they won't come out with cool tones. They probably will, like at some point. So I am interested. So this is the shade Terra. And our very last neutral or nude shade is Sienna. So like Sienna Miller. Whatever happened to her? That sounded very ominous. Yeah, so that's Sienna. So that means that we are now on to the coloured lipsticks. I'm excited. Are you? So the first shade we're looking at is Cactus Flower, and that's quite like a reddishy pink, like a pinkish red. You know words, Teresa, use them. I like the shade of this. This is my kind of a bright pink red lip. I love this on me. I'd love to see this on a darker skin tone because I think this would look really, really nice. The formula feels a little bit more dry than the nude ones. So I'm wondering if they changed the formula because they had to, because there were more colourful ones. It's not uncomfortable, it's just it doesn't feel as creamy as the others. It's quite interesting kind of feeling that juxtaposition. Definitely more drying, definitely a little bit more matte feeling. I'm going to continue to make weird sounds with my lips. Yeah, it feels powdery. That's like the closest thing that I can think of. Like a, sort of like the MAC Powder Kiss. That's kind of what it feels like. It's not unpleasant, it's just unusual. So this is Cactus Flower. We are now on to Agave. I do have a blue lipstick from Lime Crime. I'm kind of interested to see how they compare to each other. This is Peacock versus Kaleidos's Agave. Yeah, Agave is a little bit more green toned. So that is Agave and that is Lime Crime. Because I know that a few people were saying they wanted Agave and they were like, oh, I'm not going to buy the whole collection. Tia, I'm looking at you. So Peacock is a good potential alternative, but it isn't the exact same tone. It's not a dupe, but it's an alternative blue that you can get. So I'm going to try Agave now. I love that I've actually worked to put this on very carefully, and I am actually going to wipe this off almost straight away. But this is Agave. It feels quite nice. Yeah, again, that kind of powdery sort of a feel. Not uncomfortable, but if you don't like that sensation, I would say these are not the ones for you. If you like more like natural sort of a finish, then the Lime Crimes might be better for you. Just a general thought. So now we're on to Mahogany. It's quite a dark brown. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't in the nudes. But hey ho, there you go. I think it's an interesting colour. I quite like it. Like, I like the look of it, so we'll see how it actually looks on me without makeup. Okay, so this has quite a chocolatey sort of a scent to it as well that I didn't really notice with the other two. So again, this is why I'm kind of like, oh, is this not one of the neutrals? I like this. I think this would look stunning on my gorgeous friend Rebecca, because she's just, well, she's beautiful. She makes everything work. So, you know, I think this would look really nice on a dark skin tone, just as a really nice neutral. So I do find it interesting that they put it in with the more colourful makeup, but or colourful lipsticks. Not against it. I'm just like, oh, again, I think they should have sold them by themselves. It would have made so much sense, but you know, first world problems. And our very last lipstick swatch is from Dahlia. Again, kind of wish it had been a black, but that's just me being weird. This is totally my shade of red. I really, really like that. I think this might be one of my favorites. Look, I am such a basic bee. I just love a red lipstick. It's like my favorite thing. When in doubt, a bit of red lipstick. So for me, I'm like, I really like this one. Again, formula's a little bit like powdery, but I don't mind it. But yeah, those are the lipsticks. So the next part of the video is all a tutorial using the Flower Punk eyeshadow palette. So if you're interested, keep on watching. Am I the latest person on the internet to get a video of the Flower Punk out? Yeah, probably. It took them forever to get to me, but it's all very first world problems. Anyways, I created this because I was like, screw it, I'm going to use all the colours so I can have a general idea as to how the palette performs. So let's just get straight into it and smash some colours on my face. Hurrah! So I'm taking this Jessup 223, it's a petite eye blender, and I'm going into the shade Mint Fever. My lord, does this pack a punch. I'm really sad that they have like these cute little imprints on the shadow because I'm like, oh my god, they're so pretty. And then I'm going to jam my bloody brush into that. But look at that, like this is essentially a pastel-y shade, and look at how well that is turning up. Very little, like I have a primer, I have a base on, but still, like that is darn good, right? I'm not against it. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else I have to do because the colour is laid down. So I'm going to cut this out and then go on to the next bit. Okay, so I put a bit of glitter liner. It's the W7. It's such a good dupe for the distortion one. So like if for some reason you haven't come across that already, my lord, it's good. I tried to use the pink shimmer. It's called Stained Glass, but it kind of functions more as like a topper for me, at least. Maybe that's just like the one that I got. So what I had to do was go in with Peach Soju, which is like this pink sort of a matte, and I used the 237 to go into Peach Soju and just kind of work it there. So for those of you who are new to my channel, hey guys, I got like a rush of new subscribers in the last week. I got 100 or so, which I know for a lot of you, you're probably like, that's not a lot, but to me, that is massive, and I very much appreciate it. And I appreciate those of you who have been with me from very early on. You are all kinds of wonderful. It's been a very, very strange week. For those of you who have been following, you would know I had like a bit of a weird encounter with Vivian. I'm not going to talk about that, don't want to. But I've had a lot of other kind of stuff going on. My dad has been really, really unwell. He was put into the hospital, and actually it turned out it was septicemia along with staphylococcal infection. And on Thursday night he had surgery and they removed 500 ml of the infectious fluid, I suppose that's what they call it, from the hip. Now I'm going into stained glass. So at one point he'd kind of like lost his ability to walk. Like that's how severe the infection was, and they kind of told us that if it had been left much longer, well, yeah, anyways, so it's been kind of crazy stressful. He is going for an echocardiogram tomorrow morning, so actually as this is uploaded he'll have gone, or he will be in the process of going for his echocardiogram. So that's essentially checking the health of the heart. You can see actually this shade works nicely as a topper, not so great as a shade by itself, but really beautifully on top. So I'm nervous, like I'm nervous about that. Like they reckon there'll be nothing wrong, they're just doing it to check and be sure, but I'm nervous. So then I'm taking a Dose of Colours shader brush, and I went first into Peach Soju, which is kind of that pink colour there, and then into Nouveau to kind of darken it out on the outer edge. Now I found that Nouveau kind of was a little bit patchy, like it didn't blend very well with Peach Soju, which is interesting because actually I found this of the darker mattes, or the mattes in general in this palette, didn't kind of blend as well as I would have liked, or as I'm accustomed to with Kaleidos, which was very strange. Yeah, sometimes I do wonder if I'm just getting bad palettes. Like, what's that about? Not that this is a bad palette, but like it wouldn't be, like you can kind of see it's Well, it's kind of working there. Okay, that's good. That's good. Hooray! Good. I never want to have a bad palette because it's just upsetting. So I'm just blending that there. Other than that, what has been going on for me, taking a bit more of Nouveau, is I met my partner's parents at the weekend, and some of you guys gave some really excellent advice around like meeting Asian parents for the first time, so I followed a lot of that, and that was super, super helpful. Sahil was exceptionally nervous. He was going around hoovering the house, not hoovering the land, hoovering the house, and just generally, as much as I adore him, slightly driving me a little bit nuts because he was getting so, just taking a bit more peach soju, he was getting so anxious about it that he was kind of half setting me off, and I was like, oh my god, the two of us can't be anxious about this is not going to end well. Anyways, it did, and it was grand, and they were really nice and very supportive, and they just kind of talked about how much they loved Sahil, which I was like, yeah, of course you do, he's rather excellent. Yeah, you can kind of see, doesn't really blend, it's just kind of blotched there. So I'm trying to like go over that. Anyways, whatever, first world problems. But actually they called me Betty, which is Hindi for daughter, which I was like, okay, that is a good sign. That means they don't hate you. So, hurrah! So I put more of the Urban Decay glitter in Grind on. That is bananas, like bonker balls, beautiful. And I have another Jessup 237 here. Now, again, I found that the pale green shimmer didn't really show up that well, all things considered. So I put a bit of Mint Fever down first because that is, I think that is the standout matte. Possibly the standout shade from the palette. Like that is, like look at that. It just shows up. Like it's bananas. It's ridiculous, like in the best way. Not patchy, really, really nice. I mean, it's so hard to find a shade this colour that is that pigmented. So I was really, really impressed with this one. Like look at it. It's fabulous. Yeah. That shade turns up really well. Now the next one then is Aloe Cove. And you really have to try, like again, it's more functions as a topper than as a shimmer independently. You can kind of see it there, like it doesn't add that much to it, it's just a little bit of a shimmer, which I think is a bit disappointing. I think that's the thing I'm most disappointed with in this palette is the shimmers. I think, you know, coming from the Nebula was bananas. Like that was a very, very special palette. Which, by the way, why did they make that limited edition? I know it was like a collaboration with Daniela and Nyquist, but like that should have been permanent edition. Like it's so good. You know, like Morphe has like a collaboration with Jaclyn Hill, and they still have all of those. They're permanent. Why couldn't that have been permanent? Because I think it's such a good palette. But they really showed their ability to do shimmers there, and I think this is just a little bit like, oh, sadness. Just on these ones anyway. Don't come for me. We are on the home stretch now, so I'm using this Lois Cosmetics brush, which came as part of the Meet Me in the Underworld collection, which, by the way, I brought that palette with me when I was going to meet my partner's parents online, because I went to stay with my partner. And I'm so annoyed because I broke the mirror on the way down in the car. So very first world problems. But this is one of the brushes that came with it. We're going into chlorophyll, which, by the way, I'm obsessed with this shade. Like, I know I said that the Mint Fever is a standout because I actually think it's very difficult to get a shade like that to work. But oh, this is a bit of me, like this shade. Anyone who knows me will know this is the sort of shade that I'm like, oh, cover me in it, just cover me in it, because it's that, like, I don't want to say a rancid green, but it kind of is, like, you know, I love it. I think it's so nice. So I'm just stamping that on. This is a really good matte. I'm really happy with this one. It builds up nicely. The pigment is definitely there. There's a buttery creaminess to it, which I'm like, yes, I am here for the joys of a hooded lid because I'm getting glitter all over the place. Don't worry, I'll clean it all. Well, I was going to say I'll clean it all up. I actually can't be bothered. Because I'm filming this and then I'm going to go and wipe it all off because that is my reality. Anybody else? No, just me? Okay, fair enough. Taking this same brush again, put it through the colour switch, and I'm going into Golden Age. I mean, like I said, those little imprints are... Ugh, why did they have to do those? Because they're so pretty, and then I'm just going to ruin them. I'm actually actively trying to make sure I don't put the brush anywhere near the imprint, because I'm like, no, pretty. Preserve the pretty. I'll add more glitter to that later, because I like to build it in layers. My god, the W7 is great, isn't it? Such a great little find. And I have like a lot of the Urban Decay glitters, but I think it's such a nice alternative. Like, no harm. And I maintain that the Collection Glam Crystal like glitter liner is insane, because that's the silver that I have on over there. Like, that is bananas. Like, what on earth? Just shows you really don't have to spend a bomb to get some really good things. So that actually works really nicely. And what I'm going to do is I have this Morphe M562 and I'm just going to go between the two shades here. They blend really nicely. I was quite happy with this. And don't worry, I'm putting some of that lovely shimmer in there, don't worry. I actually, like, I know I said, so there's 1, 2, 3 shimmers, which is unusual. Although I suppose it's a 9-pound palette, so it's like about a 2-to-1 ratio of shimmers to mattes. But I think most of the shimmers are like not much to talk about, with the exception of the shade Sun Gazer. Oh my god, what is that? Like, it's bananas, like in the best way. I'm taking the Slowest Cosmetics brush and I'm going into the shade Earthship, which is this gorgeous mossy green. Now, I did have a little bit of trouble getting this to blend with the other shades, and it was a little bit patchy. Like, there was definitely some issues around it, so, which was kind of frustrating, because for me this is the like poopy green colour I love, like khaki camo sort of goodness that I really enjoy. So I wasn't wild on how it was turning up, but sure, look, first world, but you can kind of see it's a little bit patchy. But if you pack a little bit more on, you can kind of get past that. But yeah, it is very, it's mid-price for, I think, a palette. Like, it's not like affordable, but it's not like frighteningly expensive either. I think they put a lot of money into the presentation of their products, which I think is really interesting. Yeah, you can kind of see a little bit patchy. I was going to say packagey, but that is not the word, Teresa, you absolute fool. I'm using this Lowest Cosmetics brush and I'm going into Earthship, but I'm also going to go into Golden Age as well, because I want to kind of merge the two of them, because I had a lot of trouble trying to get them to mesh on my other eye. Sometimes I just have that, where there's one eye that's really problematic, and then the other eye, I'm like, oh, okay, you're fine. And I'm whinging about you being difficult to blend, but it's actually just my eye. It just goes to show, like, these things can be so subjective. So where I mightn't like something, you could end up loving it. And that's cool. That's what we want. We want people to love the things that they got. But yeah, this is a little bit patchy. I think this shade kind of lets down the mattes a little bit, which is funny because that's what Nouveau did as well. I found it wasn't great. It was kind of patchy. So a bit of a, I don't want to say a letdown, but like, it's not the absolute best. Like, I think they're capable of a lot more. Again, I just keep talking about the bloody Nebula palette and taking more of those two shades on this brush to just attempt to kind of mesh it a bit more. But like, I talk about the Club Nebula because I genuinely think, and I have all of Kaleidos's palettes bar one, and that was the Sashimi City, because it was just too neutral for me. I have all of them bar that, and I maintain that to date the Club Nebula is their best offering so far. Like, I think it was absolutely incredible. And I really do think that they need to bring it back. Even if they change the packaging or whatever, I don't really care. But I think they need to bring that back. Because I think a lot of people have FOMO on it. And here I am talking about that when I'm reviewing another palette. But I think that was so good that I'm looking at this palette through that lens. But I am also aware that the Club Nebula was a love child of Angelica Nyqvist, and I would say, knowing Angelica, there was no way she was putting her name on anything without making sure that it was absolutely perfection. Like, I always have so much confidence whenever I see a collaboration between a brand and somebody who has a passion for makeup, because I know that they're going to end up looking for the stuff that we end up looking for as consumers. Sorry, that was my weird like little love letter to Angelica Nyqvist. I think she's rather excellent. Yeah. Yeah, you could see there was a little bit of an issue in terms of trying to get it to blend. Not wonderful, but your look, very first world problems. And then I'm taking this Jessup 322 and I'm going into Sun Gazer, which, if they could just sell me a pan of that, I want to bathe my body in it. Like, it's so gorgeous. Like, look at this now. Look, are you watching, children? Are you watching? Oh, ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Like, that's gorgeous. That just elevates it, I think. Anyways, but sure, what do I know? What would I know? Very little, actually. Very little. But sure, look, that's okay. Yeah. Ah, but that's it. Like, I am going to F off. Like I said, I'm apparently just throwing things around. I just used this liner from Collection to kind of put on here. And we'll come back. I'll show you the finished look. The next bit is just like zooming in to show you the look completely finished, and I'm going to give you a review. So stick around. So I'm back. The rest of the makeup is on, and yeah, this is it. I actually went for the shade Cactus Flower for the lipstick because I was like, oh, it's pink and it's fun and I think it'll look cute. I also gave myself a little bit of a haircut because my fringe was driving me a bit nuts. What can I say? If nothing else through lockdown, I've learned to be my own hairdresser. Anyways, I'm going to zoom you in now so you can see the eye look. So this is what it looks like. I've taken the fringe out of the way so you can kind of see it a little bit more clearly. I want to do something a little bit weird, a little bit different, and I wanted to make sure that I used all of the colours. I often find that when you have glasses, you have to do slightly different makeup to make it look dramatic. But as soon as I take the glasses off, it looks really weird. And this is what it actually looks like when I've taken the glasses off. I'm sure I probably have indentations on my nose, whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, it's not a simple look, really. Like, it's what? A double cut crease, but not really. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I did. But I wanted to use all of the shades, and this is what I came up with. So now we're on to the very last part of the video. It's just me giving my review, which, oh, can you believe it? So I'm going to start off first with the lipsticks. Now I haven't tried the Agave lip balm thing because I'm finishing off a Laneige and I like to finish off something before I start on something else. I'm a weirdo like that. The formula is really comfortable. I have tried all of them now. I quite like them. I do wish there was a bit more variety. I wish they sold them singly. The case is beautiful. Gonna keep these one way or another. I think they're fabulous. I would give them probably a 9 out of 10 because they are very comfortable. The formula is really, really nice. I just wish, again, there was a bit more variety in terms of the tones of the nudes and that you could maybe mix and match, something like that you could build your own quad. I think that would have been really, really nice. Now we're on to this, the eyeshadow. I love that this is detachable. I just think that's really clever. It actually makes it a functional mirror for me. Not that I used it today because I'm a one mirror kind of gal. What can I say? It's not an equally made palette. I know that sounds really weird, but there are definitely shades that stand out more than others. And I think you can kind of see that in my review. I was talking about Mint Fever, Chlorophyll, and yeah, Sun Gazer. So 3 of the shades really stood out to me as being particularly special. I found, weirdly, that for me, Earthship and Nouveau, I had a little bit of an issue with blending them out. Now, if you stay with it long enough, it'll work, it's fine. Do I think this is the best that I've gotten from Kaleidos? No, definitely not. I had very high hopes after the Nebula, and that is, you know, amazeballs. I was kind of disappointed with these two shades, so Aloe Cove and Stained Glass. They are more toppers than necessarily shimmers, or maybe that's just how they worked for me. Do not take what I'm saying as the gospel, right? If you are interested in potentially buying this, go check out some other reviews. I actually have some fabulous friends who have reviewed these. Chloe, who also goes by at Save the Victory Roll. I have Sylvia. I have several others. I'm going to link them down below. Check out their reviews. Don't go on my word alone, okay? I do think, however, that this is a very interesting colour story. I think the closest to this is probably MAC's Botanic Panic, which I do want to get my grubby little paws on. I am interested in that. I do think, I mean, they have shown us with those shades, with Mint Fever, with Chlorophyll and Sun Gazer, what they are capable of. That is the Kaleidos that I know. That is the bomb formula, the amazing pigment, the just amazingness. The rest, I think, like, they're not bad. They're not like, oh, throw it out the bin. No, not at all. But I do not think it quite lives up to their usual standards. So I'm being a little bit tough here. For that reason, I would actually give this a 7 out of 10. I think it's a pretty good palette. I think if you like the colour story, go for it. I think it's really, really interesting. I do just think there's some kind of patchiness, some issues with blending, and maybe some things around pigmentation that they could have worked on. But for the price, for the packaging, everything, all of that, I think this is worth getting. I do like it. I enjoyed it. And I know that a lot of my friends did as well. So like I said, check them out as well. Make an informed decision. But that's it. That is the end of the video. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so you can find out more of this stuff. Do please share, because sharing is caring, unless of course it's an STD, in which case, you know, wrap it up. Don't be gross. I'm not teaching you about that on this channel. That is not what this is about. That's how I lose monetization. But that's it. That is the end of the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.